Boy, oh boy, was I in for a shock this week at the grocery store. Americans can't afford ground beef anymore. Welcome. Today I was in such a super shock when I saw the price of ground beef. The price of electric, now it's ground beef. The price of all of these things have skyrocketed. And what can we do? I was blessed to have some ground turkey for $1.99 at the grocery store. I should have got a whole lot more. Let's go ahead and make a meal, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what are we going to do with all of these higher prices. More and more people are having to substitute things at the grocery store. Now the price of ground beef has really got high, and other than that little bit of meat that I got to make some meals, that's all I have. And so I needed to make some other meals that I was working on, and the ground beef, really the price doubled in the last 2 weeks. Now, depending on your grocery store, the discount grocery store, the meat was $2 more expensive than it is at another grocery store. But I was able to get the ground turkey for $1.99 for this whole saucepan full of meat. So $1.99 was a really good deal. Substitute ground turkey, ground chicken for the ground beef. Adding some peppers from in the garden, and now I'm able to make a really good meal that didn't cost me very much. But you have to really be diligent and look for the sale flyers and keep your eye out for all kinds of bargains. And that's what I like to do. I was able to get this tomatoes for 50 cents, and I got a case of them. And we are going to be using beans. I'm breaking out my old cookbooks, that's for sure. I'm breaking out all the cookbooks from the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. Remember the crisis back in the 70s? Those cookbooks have a wealth of knowledge and information that can help us with saving money. And to be honest with you, I'm going to have to supplement my protein from not having meat to having beans and also peanuts. I've been eating a lot of peanuts at night, and that has protein as well. Peanut butter gives you some protein. I'm exchanging the protein from all of that ground beef, and we're using it in other ways like vegetables. But my husband says he has got to have some red meat once in a while. And let me tell you what, I try to go ahead and find meat that is reduced, that's still fresh and doesn't stink. Oh my goodness, that has got me on such a journey. I was looking for ground beef, anything, and it stank so bad. The meat, I say it was spoiled. It wasn't just gray because of the lack of oxygen that people often say. It stank. It was horrendous. More and more what stores are doing is they're taking meat, and when it's almost to the point of they can't sell it, they're sticking it in the freezer. And then they bring it out of the freezer. So a lot of tricks these grocery stores are doing now is your meat's not always fresh. So what they do is they stick it out for a couple days. If it doesn't sell, they put it in the freezer. Then when the inventory gets low, they bring it out of the freezer. And if it doesn't sell, that freezer meat won't last near as long, and it gets stinky. Best thing to do is just go to a regular butcher, but it's so expensive, and well, trying to find ways to work around all of these high prices, which are only going to get higher. Like I say all the time, I don't know how people do it. I really don't. I assume the cooking is a lot different than what it used to be, and people still go out to eat. I don't know how they're affording it. I see families of 4, 5, 6 going out to eat, and that bill's got to be at least $70 to $100. I'm sure it's special times, but people are still spending money. And I scratch my head and I think, they must be making an awful lot of money because insurance comes off that, taxes come off that, so much comes off that. And I don't know how people are surviving. I know both parents, a lot of them work. You have to exchange one thing for another. So if you want I was gonna say a better life, but it's not a better life in my opinion. But if you want a life that has vacations and has, newer houses, newer vehicles, of course, both have to work. But in my opinion, it's not always a better life. But look at me, I'm working from home and, so hats off to all the women that have to work and that work away and work at home, because it's a lot of juggling to get it all done. But I'll tell you what, shopping is really interesting these days. And I don't know, sometimes it's depressing, sometimes it's an adventure and a game for me to see what I can get, how cheap. And to be honest with you, a lot of times I don't feel like going. I don't feel like going any of those places. I know it's something, but it's just the older I get, the less I feel like going away. I don't want to be bothered by people. People are moody. They don't smile. People are so... It is absolutely amazing as far as the lack of customer. Here's the case in point. My husband needs a part of his vehicle fixed. So he was calling around because we only have one vehicle and we have to take our daughter to appointments because her husband can't take off every time for these appointments. And so we have a problem with the vehicle. So he called these dealerships and they were so rude to him. In fact, one even hung up on him. And my husband is a very kind soul. He was just explaining what was wrong with it. He knew what was wrong with it. And the guy hung up on him. Like, it is outrageous. The other dealership, my husband couldn't even talk to a human being. He had to go through, I think it was like 20 minutes of all these different press 1, press 2, press 3, to make an appointment. And he said he ain't not supporting that, he said. Finally, he just drove into town and he saw someone local. And he said, hey, can you look at this for me and see if you can fix it? And he is looking at it and working on it now. And it was so nice. There was a human being behind that counter. And I think it's amazing to try to support your small businesses when you possibly can. And my husband's like, I'm giving him a really nice tip, because my husband realized how bad it is out there with all the automation, AI stuff, and can't even talk to a human being, and it's getting so bad. But I kind of went off the course there a little bit, but it's a little bit related to ground beef. How everything is just so expensive, and it's just a very unpersonable world that we're living in. It's really weird. It's really weird, You can buy anything, Amazon now has healthcare. You can buy a car on Amazon. You don't even have to see people anymore. It's just a crazy, crazy world. But I'm going ahead and finishing up my meal. I just made a big pot of chili. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in tortillas though, to make it go further, to extend, the meal. And that's what I'm doing. I know not everybody's interested in books, but I've been learning a lot of techniques and things that people did in the olden days. And the Internet Archives is a wonderful library that's online for free. You can read lots and lots of books, and you can print things out for free, and that's been helping me tremendously. I am still harvesting some of my herbs, and what I'm harvesting right now is for sachets. And I put this in my closets with my summer clothes when I change all the clothing. So in the summer, I take out the summer clothes, and of course in the winter, I pack the clothes. And when I pack them away, the summer ones, I use these sachets to help make them fresh smelling, and it is so much fun. It is lemon verbena and lavender and some mint tea, and I have some rose petals, and it just is a wonderful scent, and it keeps things so fresh. So I'm going to work on this and get this finished. for watching. We'll see you guys again on the next one. Bye. Oh, by the way, if you do like my videos, can you give me a thumbs up? And you can have 3 different hypes on my videos each week. Find a video that you really like and give it a hype, and I thank you so much. Or, better yet, maybe you could watch some of my other videos and get some of my view time up there. Thanks again. Bye.